Danny Moses looking for a second title in the Northern Kentucky BPA Merit Tournament. He was the victor in week 8. Here he is back in week 10. He won down at Dixie Lanes.
And they keep getting bigger for him. Old Zuke's no small fella either.
Come on, buddy. Come on.
Moses opens up. Mark it down, baby.
Come on, buddy. Let's go, buddy.
Here's Mike Zuke. He's 34 years of age from Dayton, Kentucky.
And that's what is known as Rip City. He just blew the 5 right over on top of that 7.
You know, Eddie, I get out and bowl every now and then, and last time I was out, I ran into this gentleman down at old B&J Lanes.
I used to have a lot of fun at old B&J Lanes when an old friend of mine, Johnny Wolf.
We got a sign back here. What's that say, Eddie?
And if you watch this, he crosses over and just pushes him right into the pit.
This is high Poe.
Notice he carries the ball real low for a big fella. Nice smooth 5 steps.
He's going over again.
As long as they're going to give it to him, I guess he's going to wear it out.
Mike is 34 years of age from Dayton, Kentucky. He's married to Sandy, has 2 children, Mike, who just graduated from kindergarten, and Angie, who's 4. And he bowls over here at LaRue Lanes.
And he's also 6'4", 260. And where does he sleep? Any place he wants to.
Here's Mo. 235 last game.
Those bowlers start the ball down and then bring it up.
Come on, buddy. Come on.
Mark it down, baby.
One more shot out there.
I like the way the lights bother him.
Yeah.
And just watch the swing area that he's got, and it just comes back, and 6 just goes up against the wall and knocks a 10.
Kind of rounding out the top 10 of the men at Fightmaster number 4. Don Tways, number 5, Danny Moses, 6, Ben Potter, 7, Jim Morrow, 8, Rick hit 9th, and Lewis Moses, 10th. And there it is, 3 up, 3 down, all on paper. And the handicap gap has just been closed.
You know what's really nice? You want to watch the pins do their action here. They go up against a wall and just wally wall bangers.
Here's Zuke. Now that's power.
Well, both of these gentlemen are using 5 steps and almost from the same identical spot and just sort of waltzing up to the line. They're not picking their feet up, they're just shuffling them. And I do a lot of teaching, and I always tell them to kids, I tell them, go to the foul line like you're walking to school, not from school. And there is a difference, Nick. Correct me, he looks like he did 4 that time.
Zuke for a double. Mark it down, baby. This is going to be an old Texas shootout here.
And you see him hit right through the bottom of the ball and perfect. And you got a shot at his approach. Look at him, nice and slight. Look at, they never leave the ground. He just sort of shuffles up there, nice and smooth. And that, folks, is a nice, slow, deliberate approach.
Danny Moses owns a 300, 2 299s, 2 298s, and a 290. He's knocked the pins down before.
I would say. But if we bowled another game, I don't want to be here because they're getting to be giants. Zuke, he's a tremendous sized man. But I see where he marked on here 5 steps, and I'm sure he took 4.
There's Danny in the 5th. Yeah, mark it down, baby. I don't know if our camera picked that up with that 10-pin hiding back there. If we can get a replay on that.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Oh,
There it
sure.
is.
He got that 10. The 6-pin went right up against the wall and just leaned on it. There's that sign, high, Poe. Zuke can close the gap.
Close the gap.
He just narrowed it.
No, Zuke's back on top now.
You betcha. You know, I noticed he's an electrician, and he works for Ray Electric Company, and a friend of mine owns that company, and I bowl with him on Thursday night.
Hey,
And-
Eddie. I'm sorry to interrupt you here, but I'm looking at Zuke's ball, and what about the weight of his ball? That's something you might want to mention.
Oh, come on, baby. Come on out there now.
Well, he's using a 3/4 ounce negative side, which means he has a side not positive but negative. He's got the weight on the left side, as you would look at it in drilling, and it has a tendency to make the ball hook a little earlier. And if he wanted to do it a little more, he could go negative thumb.
Right now, Zuke's +8. A striker right here could put Danny Moses back on top. We're in the 6th
Come on,
frame.
buddy. Finish.
It's out there. It's talking. Mark it down, baby.
Come on, one more time out there. Let's go. Come on,
In a
bud.
seesaw match.
And this is going to be a real battle. Watch the 6. I get a kick at it. If I talk a lot about the 6, because it's a key pin that I watch when I'm bowling. It's what I use, whether it's right or wrong, it's what I use on adjusting if I'm leaving 10s.
Finish, buddy. Finish.
Better hit it.
Double stick up there, Eddie.
And he's got double wood for sure. And anytime you get this shot, you've got a problem. And anytime you average 215, you don't have too many problems.
Right on it.
Okay, all right. All good.
We have an even match right now, Eddie.
I guess I got the pin wrong here, huh? If you heard the dead air, it's because we were checking our sheets and I was wrong.
I had an even match and he did.
Well, it's not even anymore.
1 pin difference. 6 frame score, 147, 146 Moses. Zuke will pick this up. They'll both be working on spares in the 7th.
And here's a good shot. Cross lane over the 3rd arrow. You know, if we stress a lot about, you know, speed going to the approach, but if you notice these two bowlers are well over 200 averages, and Wendell's same. They go to the line slow and they release the ball where it doesn't have that hard power going down there. Speed don't knock anything down but your average.
Did you make that up?
No, I made it up a long time ago.
Here's Zuke. Yes.
Hey, no, come on, baby. Come on now. Get strong right now, buddy.
He tripped that 4 right out of there, and a lot of times if you throw the ball hard, keep your eye on the head pin. It has a chance to go up against the wall and clip that 4. If I'd been football, he'd have got 15 yards.
Moses needs us to stay on top. We're in the 8th. It's out there. It's churning. Mark it down, baby.
One more shot now. Come on. Come on, Danny.
Now the 9th.
Now, buddy. Pack it in there. Good.
And he's a little wider. There, you see the ball coming. Flower pots him. Where that ball was delivered, Nick, is where Wendell was getting in trouble. He got it too far wide and made too big of a hit on the back end and was just chopping right through it.
9th frame. Moses +1. Mixes it up and marks it down. Now the pressure's on Michael. The Zuke.
3, baby.
6'4", 260.
And
all
one
power.
Pin. One pin.
That's the difference in this match.
And he needs this strike right now for the foundation frame.
Yes, he does. He needs this to stay even. Zuke's there. Mark it down, baby. And on our final show of our regular season, we have our grand finals next week at Bellwood. We have a shootout.
And we also got an answer to Danny Moses' shot. He just threw them all over there.
One pin separates these gentlemen. And I know, Eddie, you want to shoot first if you're up there. I know your philosophy.
Well, he can't lock him out, that's for sure.
No, he can't.
Can't lock him out. But he can sure make that ball awful heavy.
Yes.
It's only one pin difference for the viewers that are keeping score with us at home.
One pin separates these gentlemen. Whatever Zuke does, Moses has to equal or better to win it.
Well, he definitely needs the first one in the 10th. And he's close.
Mark it down, baby.
Well, I think he's going to stretch Danny to the limit.
Yes, he is. Zuke with a strike right here can finish with a 256. The best Moses can do is a 257.
This is an important ball. This will determine whether Danny needs all three of them or two and count. Big pitch.
Mark it down, baby. 256.
Come on, baby. Come on, come on.
Danny Moses.
So good shots.
I think everybody in the building, and you watch a perfect shot under the toughest of conditions, and they're all there.
Danny Moses averages 215 in league play. He needs all three in the 10th.
In his favorite lane.
Come on, baby.
It's out there. It's turning.
And a weak 10. Just finished a little late. But a good, strong ball. I'll say one thing. He had it in the area. Waste no time shooting cross lane.
Moses is going to finish with a 236. So Mike Zuke is going to win it in week 10 here at LaRue Lanes.
And our young ladies, Vicki Kesson has the high game of the day.
235. Same score he shot last time, but this time Mike Zuker's 256 will prevail. We'll be back with check presentations and Eddie Jackson interviews here at LaRue Lanes in Highland Heights, Kentucky, right after this. We're back at LaRue Lanes in Highland Heights, Kentucky, where week 10, our final regular week, has now come to a close. The only week left is next week at Bellwood Lanes, and that's where all the people who bowl on television will qualify in what we call the grand finals, and we'll be bowling for some big money. And Eddie, you have the proprietor here at LaRue Lanes.
Yeah, I got a gentleman I've been acquainted with for a good many years, Charlie Goldfuss, and Charlie, looking around here, we've always said that bowling was a family sport, and what's more evident than what we got right here?
That's for sure, Ed. We'll call this LaRue's Family Hour.
Well, it's a possibility we'll show this on Disney
Right,
Channel
right.
or whatever.
That's right.
But anyway, you and I could sit here and talk about old memories, but this house has always been conducive to good scoring, and it's a beautiful home, and it's clean, and the conditions are always great. And why don't you give out the checks to the young ladies and the gentlemen?
Ed. All right, third place in the ladies, Millie. Bonnie, nice game, baby. You just missed. Vicky, super job. Congratulations. Wendell Jr.?
Yes.
Congratulations. Danny, you were there, buddy. Good try.
Thank you.
Mike, super job, Michael. That's a LaRue bowler. What do you want me to say now? Ed?
Well, you can say anything you want to say, Charlie.
Well, I really, I just enjoy having everybody here. We try to keep the place as nice as we can, and we try to give the scores an even scoring condition to the bowlers so that everybody has an opportunity to do what they did today.
And I know a little lady that would argue that point with you, but we'll talk to her in a little bit. Nick?
Why don't you just go ahead and go around and get your interviews and maybe find out who the young ones are.
Well, anything less than me is young. But I got to talk to Millie over here. And Charlie, if you will. Millie, I watched you in the first. You sure can. I was wanting to hold on to you the first game.
I needed it. I was so terrified.
Well, your little fella down here don't look like he's terrified.
Well, he just loves to be up here. He loves to bowl. He's a bowler.
Well, that's a good time to get him started. I tell you what, Millie, I watched you and I felt a little sympathy for you because you bowled so well to make the finals, and that's something a whole lot of bowlers tried to do, was to qualify.
Mm-hmm. I did bowl well Sunday, considering I had fallen and bruised my little tailbone before I came here.
Well, we won't go into that. And well, I want to talk to Bonnie over here. Bonnie, I think I can remember. I think you got 122 average.
Yes, 122.
122, and you bowled the highest game of your career right here on TV.
Right, that was real. I was real excited.
Well, if you were excited, I watched your husband over there. You wasn't near as excited as he was.
I know, he's proud of me.
Well, I don't know why he's proud of you, because you don't know if you're married to him or not. But you know, what'd you say, 1 or 2 or what?
1 or 2 what?
Well, didn't you have something about 1 or 2 years, whatever you had written on the question?
Oh, I've only been bowling 1 or 2, up to 2 years, on and off.
Oh, well, see, no wonder you look dumb at me, because you had it marked in the wrong spot.
Did I really?
Yes, you did.
I don't know.
Well, I see you got a little fella here, huh?
Yeah, that's Christopher. He
Well,
hates me, so.
Well, I see how this started, and I'm going to get over here to our little champ. Champ, why don't you get on over here? Vicky, it looks like it's getting to be a habit with you.
Yeah, it's a fun habit, too.
And what are you going to do with the bucks?
Spend them. I don't know.
I got news for you. The little girl down here has got an idea what you want to do with it.
I believe she probably does.
Well, Vicky, it's always nice to have you on this show, and as always, you come through at the bang. You know, I made note that you really came out of the ball strong, right at the bottom of the swing.
Oh, great. I hope I try. I love bowling, and I just want to get better and better.
Did you start young?
No, I didn't start until I got married. My husband could afford to pay my way, you know?
Well, so much for ERA. Well, I got to get over here to Wendell. It isn't often, let's put it that way, when we have Wendell on the show and I get to talk to him first, because that means he finished last. And Wendell, normally you're the champ, and how's it feel to be down here in this spot?
Well, not too good, but that's a breaks.
Well, I tell you, I counted up, and correct me if I'm wrong, because you probably will. You left 3 10s, 2 9s, and a 4.
Yeah.
And I don't know what you can do any better.
No, I just didn't get it breaks. That's really just life. You got to shake it off and come back.
And that's what, that's the part of the show. It's always you get a chance to come back. And, I was telling Nick, I says, I think he's swinging the ball a little wider. And it looked like you were going wider and picking up more hit on the back end of the ball.
Yeah, I went wider because I got a ball in and it got it too far in, and I got it in and it didn't come back. So I went out, just got bad breaks, too much ball.
I wished I had that problem. I wished I had too much ball. Well, Wendell, I'm sure we'll see you again, guy. And I know you're not married and you don't have any of these little ones here.
No, not yet.
Well, we will get out of here, too. Come on over here, Danny. Danny, when we talk to the Moses and we get the Moses guys on here, we always seem like we got a family reunion of our own.
Yeah, we're a pretty close family. We stick together, and usually where one of us are at, most all of us usually are there.
Well, when you kept going through your opponents, you start off at 6'3" and 215, and then you get 6'4" and 260, and I got news for you. Your next opponent, you'd have had to bring the family out here.
That's for sure, but it's not too much how big they are, it's just how many pins they knock down. And Zuke knocked them down good today. He hit them hard, and that just breaks of the game. I could have carried one and didn't, and we'll be back next week.
Well, I was mentioned to you in the back. I says, well, I know how big they are, but when you put that ball in your hand, you're as big as anybody I know.
Well, I appreciate it, and we do a lot of practicing at it, and just that's what it's all about. You got to get here and practice if you want to keep consistent.
Well, I don't know what you're averaging on the tube, but it's got to be tremendous. You shoot, I think Nick told me you had a 279 and probably another 240, and today you shoot 235 and 235. What are you going to do for an encore?
Hopefully come back next week and shoot a 300 and win the finals.
Well, I tell you what, to be high on the tube, you're going to have to do that because a young lady on this pair shot 298 at 18 years of age. And that is kind of heavy. Bridget.
Yeah, I remember.
Well, let me have the big guy over here. I'm only 6'1.5" and 210. The next, oh gosh, don't even get a picture of this. Zuke, I mentioned that, you know, you're a big fella, but yet you get to the line so smooth. As I neglected to talk to Danny about his approach, but you get to the line so smooth and so low for a big fella.
Yeah, I used to really throw the ball hard and crank it. I'm trying to cut down on it now.
And you're cutting down on speed for why?
Well, I've had a lot of problems with my foot, and I weigh 260 pounds, and that's a lot of weight when you planting that foot.
Yeah, I know. Would you mind getting off of mine? I'm just kidding, of course. But I noticed you brought your 2 young'uns up here.
Yes, I did. I was on the show last time here, and they said, Dad, you didn't put me on the TV. So here they are today.
Well, you know what? If that young fellow in the green would turn around, he might get a shot at him.
Look around there.
And that's a shot at the Zukis, and all I can say is, champ, congratulations on winning, and I know you're going to talk to Harold Ray come Tuesday.
You got that right.
Harold Ray is a teammate of mine named Buck, and Nick, I guess that's what we got here from LaRue today, and we'll see him next week, I guess.
That's right. Once again, next week we'll be at Bellwood Lanes, and that's for the grand finals, taping, I guess, about 9:30. So everyone who was on TV this year will be qualifying. It comes out to be 23 men and 23 women because of people like these 3 people over here and everybody over there qualifying once or twice. So next week at Bellwood Lanes for the Northern Kentucky BPA Merit Tournament, I'm Nick Benz for Eddie Jackson saying so long, everyone.